After numerous hours of preparation, we start our excursion towards the mega metropolis. We, students from the Frankfurt University of Applied Sciences, are from the 4th department and are currently studying social work in the 3rd semester. For a long time it was uncertain if we were able to enter upon this journey, due to media reports revolving around the unrest in the Middle East, marking the anniversary of the Egyptian Revolution. Nevertheless, a new contact to a university, which is half public and half private, in 6th of October city, gave our group the opportunity to travel the country and to experience its many facets.
My name is Ibrahim Izzeddin. I'm working as a professor in social work in High Institute of Social Work, 6th October University. And I teaching community development and community organization. And I supervise my students in their practice.
A tour of our new partner university seems obligatory. During the tour, we meet the president, the dean, and other important personalities of 6th of October University. We notice early on what a high role prestige plays in the Egyptian society. We were warmly welcomed, and we, as well as the Egyptian students, were given many opportunities to ask questions. Though the communication mainly consists of taking photos. Even though the effort for a professional exchange exists, it is quite challenging due to linguistic deficits.
My name is Abdulwahab. I study in grade 4. I have 22. I studied social work because I want to change the world in Egypt. I want to change the Egypt for future. But study social work because I help the people. They need the help.
I study social work because it makes me trust of myself. Because it make me study the people that surround me, that I can talking to them when I trust of myself more. And social work make me solve the people problem in my community and make my community more attractive.
The 6th of October city and its university is situated 22 miles from Cairo city center. On the occasion of the International Day of Social Work, we meet a part of the student body, as well as important personalities for social work in the capital to debate and celebrate. Our professor Ute Straub is able to compete with her lecture on globalization of social work and human rights as the only female representative. Nevertheless, we want to break through the surface during our journey and want to know what kind of challenges social work faces in Egypt and where the differences lie between social work here and Germany. For this course, we visit several places. One trail leads us to the slums of Cairo. Informal quarters here are numerous. One of them is called Garbage City. Here, the rubbish from the streets of Cairo is collected and recycled by the poorest. A quite impressive place where the Christian minority of the Coptic were forcibly relocated several years ago. In the middle of this beautiful scenery, we meet Grine Stahl for a workshop. She's a lecturer at Frankfurt University who lives in Cairo. This way we were able to ask many questions which have arisen during our trip.
the biggest differences between social work in Egypt and Germany, I would say that this society here in Egypt brings different problems and target groups for social workers. So, for example, in Egypt we have this problem of orphans, we have a lot of violence against women, we have poverty, we have refugees. So this society brings different problems than German society, and of course this society has a different way of educating social workers. So although here there is a social system and there is social work as in curricula in universities, the methods taught to social workers are not that broad, I would say. As a social worker, maybe as an Egyptian social worker, it's the biggest challenge actually to cope with a very little salary and with prejudices against social workers in this society, because social work doesn't have a very high reputation in the society.
We learned that despite the differences in the challenges of social work, there's also a common ground. Although social work has been a university department for a longer time in Egypt than in Germany, it is still fighting for a better reputation. The possibility of a practical exchange is shown in a home for street children. We present methods, and the manager of the facility Tomorrow Girls, Abdel Samia Labib, explains to us how this would work in reality.
Okay, we have 4 steps, like I tried to explain. First step, we deal with the children in the street. And this stage have many procedures. First of all, we make a research in the street. 2 of social worker go on the street to try to deal with the children in it. And after a while, we try to make them, convince them to go to our place, our reception center. And we call the reception center the club, because the reception center, the shelter, the center mean something in street children, mean the police station, because that we call it club. Club, the other mean of the center. And we have that third procedure in this mobile unit. It's something like a van, a big car, consists of 2 part in medical point and the other part in social point. We try to give them all of the needs they needed, except they sleep at night. That's because we want to them know the street is very bad, because if we offer to them any service, that means it's difficult to convince them to return to back to the family to solve them problem.
A first step refers to outreaching social work. Further steps contain the admission into the home, the rehabilitation and the reintegration into the families. The facility is technically only for girls. We want to know why there are also boys in the corridors.
First of all, when we start our program here, we deal with girls only. And after a while, we find we have some girls have a nephew, have a brother, have any of them family. Because that we start to make them be together to try not break them relationship together. And here we have about 55 boys, unless 6 or 7 years, and the other of the number is girls.
All this creates a good impression. What kind of problems do you face here?
Really, we have a lot of problems. First of all, the number of the social worker, if we compare it between the social worker or with the girls or with the boys. And the other, the money, the salary. Because that when we try to teach some social worker some basic education, basic knowledge, after a while he can find another work far away of his professional, because that he left us. If we give the money, for example, and make him feel safety, that means he will be with us. There is another problem we face it with the family. Sometimes the family not good enough to try to deal with them problem with the children, because that we must have a lot of step to deal with it. Sometimes we have a problem with the government, because some of our children didn't have any ID, and we have a lot of problem to make it. We have in education, we have some problem to deal with it. In the violence in our society, sometimes a lot of step we deal with it. But first of all, if we make our children feel love, feel we care, that means we have something to start in it.
I go to Shobra. Shobra is place beside us. It's a joke.
Another facility for street children is called ID Egyptian and is aimed primarily at boys. Here too, the managers take some time to talk to us and show us around. Zohar, the psychologist of the facility, explains to us that there is no adoption law in Egypt. This is the reason for the exceptional efforts to reintegrate children into their families.
Long time ago, maybe before the revolution, there was no law to protect the child, but now we try to, the law changed it, and now we have a human right. Before they don't have any a chapter for the child, but later they make some changes, and now they focus more on the child, and the law changed it, and now we have the right to, if I see a family that cannot take care of the child or abuse them, I can go directly to the committee and tell them all the case history, and then they can go, and by the law I can not allow the family to take the children. Yeah.
مرة وانا بس دي كانت بره يعني، بس كان طفل من هنا تمام. مرة طفل، هو ده مش موقف واحد، ده كذا موقف. انا عشان مسؤول عن البرنامج الدمج الاسري والزيارات وكده، فخدت قبل كده مرة ولد رحت بيه المنيا تمام فتحي. فهو كان وهو بنسأل وبندور على اهله، عرف رحنا المكان اللي هناك وكده، فانا شفت مامته وهي جايه عليه، يعني مش قادر انسى شكلها وهي قاعده كده في نص الشارع، وقد ايه انا يعني ساهمت في ان الولد ده يرجع لمامته. هي كانت عايزه يعني توطي تبوس على رجلينا من كتر فرحتها بالموضوع. قد ايه الموضوع ده كان يعني مأثر فيا لحد دلوقتي، شكل مامته وهي فرحانه بيه مش قادر اوصفه، بس كان رهيب يعني.
We are particularly happy for the impressions we gained by visiting these establishments. It becomes precarious when talking about refugees. Different to Germany's, most of the refugees here don't want to come to Egypt to settle, but to use it as a transit country with the goal to reach Europe. The UNHCR is a non-governmental organization. Here we get a lot of explanations. However, one does not want to express oneself critically in front of the camera.
Sometimes a great challenge is when you have only special possibilities to support children due to lack of resources, or because the general security situation here in Cairo is very particular, and it doesn't offer for integration purposes that many possibilities for unaccompanied children, especially when they don't have the languages.
Another establishment which works together with refugees is Caritas. Once again, we see Egyptian hospitality at its best. Time is taken to show us around and answer our questions. In the facilities, as well as during the visits of the many sites Egypt has to offer, it becomes clear that the revolution has left some marks and that there are many problems to tackle on the long road to recovery for the Egyptian people and its social workers. The economical deficits caused by the collapse of tourism has shown us how in need the people here are for social support. Perhaps this is the reason why it has been presented to us as if social work had a relatively high standing in the society.
Social work in Egypt is good, and we have good positions in different branches in Egypt for social workers, but we need more and more. We are not stop in point, but we need to be more success in our lives. We need make lessons for social workers to open their private offices to work as free social workers, not follow government or non-governmental organization or any other organization. I'm looking forward to make a cooperation with Frankfurt University because I feel this is very important for us, for them, and also for us, because it's important to exchange our experience, our experience in teaching, experience with the students, experience in practice. So it's very important for us to support each other because we are make a circulation or the globalizations make us to know each other what we are doing, and we must have accumulation in our scientific researches and our ideas, everything.